I believe we are live now. So, a very good morning from Islamabad, Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host, Sheikh Muhammad Ali. Again, enjoying a chilly morning here in Islamabad. Our today's guest is Mrs. Yumiko Kashimura, who's also my classmate and a graduate of the prestigious Asian Institute of Management, Manila, Philippines. It is an honor for me to be having Mrs. Kashimura, who's currently working as an instructor of Kumon method, which was founded by Toru Kumon in 1958. Before Kumon, she had worked at Fuji Xerox Company Limited, which is currently named Fujifilm Business Innovation Company, for 33 years. During Fuji Xerox period, she mainly worked in global supply chain area and global sales and marketing as a group manager. Based on her experience in global supply chain, Mrs. Kashimura wrote an article titled One of the Variations for Kaizen Approach: Communication Issues on Supply and Demand in Asia Pacific in the year 2001. It is an honor and my privilege to welcome not just my class fellow, but the first Japanese individual to our Failure Festival program. So without much waiting, please help me in welcoming Mrs. Yumiko Kashimura. So here we are, Mrs. Kashimura. Welcome to the Failure Festival and Firo Festoi Yokoso.
Thank you, Sheikh.
Please go ahead. Let me ask you a few questions right away. Can you please tell us about yourself? Where precisely you are from in Japan, and where did you get your schooling and your college, your bachelor's and master's done? Please.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Yumiko Kashimura. I'm the classmate of the Sheikh. I'm very glad to join this seminar. About my personal history, I mainly based on Kanagawa Prefecture, which is the next prefecture of Tokyo. Then in Kanagawa Prefecture, I based on the western part, which is the very famous sightseeing spot Hakone, Odawara. Maybe some of you have ever visited in Japan. So I grew up there. Then I joined Tokyo Christian Women's University, which located in Tokyo. So it takes 2.5 hours to go to university from my house. So it's not usual, but during my time, many parents hesitate their daughters to live alone in Tokyo area. So as my parents did, I decided to stay my home and go to university. And my major was the American literature. Is that the bachelor's degree? Then right after the graduations, I joined Fuji Xerox. During that time, in Japan, we just established the Equal Act, Equal Opportunity Equal Act was established. So it seems that business society open up the women's. Then the company before the different, even who graduate from the same university, just difference of the sex, the salary was different. But when I was enter the Fuji's, because of the Equal Act, we were expected to work equally. So I worked for several years. Then also I worked for the resident from Corporation in United States. Then I decided to take the overseas training program in our company. So I applied, then I accepted to, then the company sent me to Asian Institute of Management in Philippines. That was, I am the first female to be sent to the Philippines because of the security issues in Philippines during that time. So I was very excited. Then of course I got a very excited experience there. I had a lot of Asian friends. I stayed in dormitory. That was first time for me to stay away from my house. So also one of my uniqueness was that when I went to join AIM, I have already got married. So my husband was sent to the United States as same overseas trainee. So that was also the unique career for both of my husband and myself. So after AIM, I learned that Japan is quite far from Asian countries in terms of the mentality. After the graduations, my company asked me which department I want to work. I said that I would like to contribute something the Japan and Asian country make closer. Then they put me supply chain department.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for these glitches that we are having. We tried, Mrs. Kashimura tried, and she moved into another room, but still she is somehow having problems with her Wi-Fi connection. Yes, so she's back now.
Okay.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Please continue. Yeah.
So I worked with Asian countries after the graduations. Most of the country is Southeast Asia and also Australia and New Zealand. That was also good there because during that time, our company, the female worker is only 10%. Then the female manager was also the 10% of the female manager. So it's quite minor. So before me, there is very few female managers, so I have very few chance to talk with them. But during the global supply chain management, I met a lot of female managers in Singapore and Australia and the Philippines. So that was a very, very good experience for me. After the supply chain management area, I was transferred to global marketing and sales. So my counterpart was totally different from Asian people to the American people. So I had a negotiation with transfer pricing from Fuji Xerox to Xerox Corporations. So I also met several American female managers. So they also give me a lot of advices and suggestions. So then after that, I decided to resign the Fuji Xerox because usually the Japanese company, most of the company had a policy that the people needs to retire at 60 years old. So I thought that I need, since our life long, in Japan, the average life is 87 kind of things. So I still have a lot of time, maybe, if I'm healthy. So I thought that I need to prepare the life. Then I love job. I wanted to have some relationship with society. So I decided I'm looking for what kind of job I like and I prefer and suitable. Then last 10 years in Fuji Xerox, I have a lot of subordinate of the fresh graduate. Then they give me a lot of energy, and also I teach them, I taught them, and I gave a lot of advice, but also I got a lot of energy from younger generations. So I thought that the kind of educational business is enjoyable and a lot of learning will give me a lot of learning. So I decided to be Kumon instructors. So
How would you define Kumon instructor? What is the meaning of Kumon?
Kumon is the name of the founders. Then actually it's quite interesting and occasionally I have never known about Kumon, but first time I have heard that Kumon name was in AIM.
Really?
Yes, one of our batchmate, Karen, one day she talked to me. She said, Yumiko, do you know about Kumon, which is a Japanese learning method? And she said that she sent her daughter to Kumon classroom in Philippines. Then she said that that was quite good. She said. So at the time I didn't have a child, so I just, try to remember. But when I thinking about my next career, suddenly I remember that phrase, conversation with my classmate. So it was quite great, The Kumon was a Japanese learning system, but it was globally accepted.
Okay.
So I was quite excited to learn what is a Kumon. Then when I learned the idea or method about Kumon, I gradually think that it is quite good. Then it is the, very important. It is a system to teach the very important things to the children.
So how is it any different from the normal teaching methods which are prevalent in the global world? What makes it so different and unique?
Yeah, there are several the teaching system in Japan for the primary school kids, but Kumon is some individual instructions. So an individual instruction means even though the same age depends on the child, each child has will study the different things, which is I will choose. What can I say?
What he or she will learn.
Yes, every class. So it's really individual, customized learning system. Then also Kumon encourage the kids, student, to do self-learning. So they have a A5 sheet learning print, which is several calculation printed. Then it was small step worksheet. It is a small step worksheet. So they do the worksheet. They naturally learn how to calculate, how to do, how to solve the problems. So it's a system which is not the system I will teach, but system of self-learning, kids self-learning. They will learn by doing the worksheet. So that was quite unique.
Yes, it is indeed. How old are these kids when they start the Kumon system?
It really depends. So my classroom, there is the youngest is 4 years old.
Okay.
Then eldest is 14. But sometimes some class has adult student.
And they all sit together in the same class?
Yes.
In the same class? Wow.
Yes,
that is
because
amazing.
they are doing the self-learning. So worksheet, I will prepare what they will do, the study day.
Okay.
So they just pick up the classroom, then they do their worksheet, which was I prepared.
Okay. And what is the background of these kids? Is it a rural background, or they can also come from an urban background, like your school is in Tokyo?
No. Actually, the Kumon class has everywhere. So usually, so in Japan, I'm not sure how many classroom in Japan in Kumon classroom. So usually one school, one Kumon class kind of things. So it's really rural, so ordinary. Not high class and not low class.
Fine. But do you have a physical class, or is it a virtual online class?
Both.
Okay.
Before, it's a physical class only, but after COVID, the Kumon set up the online system. So now we
I seem to have lost you again. This is very interesting, by the way, my viewers. What she's talking about, the Kumon system of education, whereby in a classroom, in a single classroom, at one moment in time, she has kids between the ages of 4 and 14, and they're learning together. I think this looks like and sounds like a very interesting system whereby it is not the age of the child, but the grasping power of the child, whereby a 4-year-old is sort of competing, if I may use this word, with a 14-year-old while learning together. That is something really interesting. I don't think such an experiment has taken place in our country, and I would like to sort of see, especially private schools, looking into this Kumon education system and kind of experimenting as to could this be done in our society, in our schools, especially in the private sector. So this can be interesting. I'm still waiting. Oh, I just lost her. Nevertheless, life is like that. For whatever strange reason, her Wi-Fi is not working properly today, and I've lost her. But hopefully she will come back. So I've been thinking, now that we've conducted 40 plus interviews lately, I keep on thinking before going to sleep, after waking up, as to who should be my next target, and I'm always looking for people with unique ideas and talk about their lives, where they are coming from different cultures, different religions, and so on and so forth. I guess Yumiko's back. Let me invite her over. Are you here? Yes, you're back, Yumiko. So let me ask you a question, another question.
I'm back.
Sorry, I'm pestering with you with so many questions. How do you see failure? What is your definition of failure, and how do people in Japan handle failure?
The definition of the failure, what I think, is that the case I cannot get the result what we wanted.
Okay.
Then regarding the handling the failure, I think the Japanese people still not good at handling failures. Maybe because of the old educational systems, we taught not make failure. So it's getting popular in Japan that we can learn a lot of things from the failures. The lot of books is published now, but still we are not that good at handling the failures.
So I guess it's the same here also. Let me just add to your knowledge. About 4 years ago, I was also invited by a friend in one of the cities, one of the bigger cities, Peshawar, and he invited me to come and speak on failure, my failures, and the caption, the title of the program was Failure Festival, and I questioned him as to how can there be a festival of failure. So he goes, well, go and search on the internet. So I went on the internet, and thanks to the internet that we are connected globally, so I typed on Google. I'm surprised to learn there's a gentleman in US, in Illinois, who's been doing these failure festivals for the last 30 years. and it is something similar to TEDx. I don't know if you have heard about TEDx. Share your thoughts, share your ideas, whereby they invite good speakers, motivational speakers, to come and stand up in the auditorium and talk to the masses about their failures in life, their successes in life. So I was really surprised that something is happening for the last 3 decades. So I started writing my failures in life, and I thought maybe I can just jot down 3 or 4 lines. But when I started typing on Word, the story was not ending, and I wrote one whole page of bullet points, and it kept on going on and on. And I realized, my goodness, I'm a certified failure. There's so many failures in my life. So, while taking a clue from this point, um, have you had any failures in your personal or professional life? Did you encounter any failures, if you remember, and if you're comfortable in sharing with our audience?
In terms of the supply chain management, the goal is a minimum of the inventory. The goal is a minimum inventory of the Asian Pacific regions. But there are several warehouses in that regions, right? Then there are warehouse managers, there are supply demand managers at each point. Then, the inventory is kind of the measurement of the guy. If the person will feel that the goods will not arrive on time, they will stock more.
Yes.
They will order more, right? So reliability is a measurement of the inventory level is a measurement of the
your productivity
reliabilities of the persons
selling.
in their productivities. Yes. So it sometimes the beyond countries the communication problems. And I think that during that time that my communication is not good. So the Singapore area manager decided to increase the inventory level very high. So that was one of the failures. And also the current in a common class, there are a lot of failures because I still have a very few experience. So the case is all different from the, depends on the child, right? So I tend to let them repeat the same worksheet to learn, familiar with the problems. But sometimes the repetition of the same worksheet demotivate the kids. That sometimes the kids want to go ahead. More difficult worksheet. Sometimes they want to challenge. But sometimes I feel that challenge is too difficult. So I ask them to do the previous worksheet. So the kids demotivate and sometimes quit. That is my failures. And also sometimes I feel that kid can challenge more difficult worksheet. But that kid cannot finish it. Then
on time.
on the other hand, the kids will hurt because he cannot finish the worksheet. So it depends on the kids, but sometimes it's my intention will not work. So try and error repetition now.
So it's basically our presumptions or assumptions, presuppositions about the child's psychology, his level of grasping, his or her understanding, and we tend to put them in a place whereby they are not at the moment, or sometimes they go higher in their thinking. So I think it's all psychology, and we all learn from that. There's one word which I sort of read and I saw in some movies also 45 years ago. It's called harakiri, right? And what I understand of harakiri is suicide. So I saw in a movie maybe that if somebody could not deliver on time and he or she feels bad about it, he would consider, since it was his responsibility, he would consider suicide and would do harakiri. Is it something prevalent in your society now, or is it something of the past?
It's something past, but not so old.
Okay.
Now it's not. We don't have a harakiri customs, but in the old generations, they did a harakiri, like especially for the World War II. The commit suicide sometimes show to take responsibility of the failures, and also keep their honor. And before being accused, they will commit suicide so that their failure will not affect on their families or relatives. So that was an old custom, but not so old, ancient, not so ancient, but harakiri is not anymore. But it's a kind of the spirit we still have.
Yes, because in our part of the world, we don't come across Japanese very often. And for whatever reason, we don't get Japanese travelers here. And so we don't know much about Japan. And through you, I wanted to sort of connect a bond between yourself and my audience, because I know you for the last 30 plus years. So I wanted my audience to listen to a Japanese perspective as to how do they think. And as far as we as a nation are concerned, we have always been projected and portrayed that Japanese are very polite, Japanese women are very shy, and they're very responsible people. And we always look towards Japan when it comes to responsibility and being polite and doing their jobs on time, the way they bow to each other. So we have a lot of respect for the Japanese people and their culture. Yeah, I'll be very honest with you. So, is there any last message that you would want to give to our audience? Because my audience now is between Japan to California, Los Angeles, and in between. So we've got a huge audience by virtue of me studying with somebody like you and Jeremy Lorenzo, our class fellow who's sitting somewhere in the US. I assume he's in Los Angeles. So you can well imagine our audience sitting between the entire planet. So if there's a message you would like to give to the younger kids about failure, about success, yes.
I think that in Japan now the education system is different, the changing, like more westernized. So now is the younger generation is slightly different from my generations. So now we are still kind of the middle of the struggling. How much we keep a Japanese culture and how much we accept in Western culture. So the younger generation is still wondering, and Japan itself is wondering. So the in terms of the failures, the learning from failures, the concept is getting popular, but still we still have some certain pride of take a responsibility of the failures. So that is one of the reasons we still not good at handling failures, because when we are learning from failures, we need to analyze the failures, right? Means we need to look at our, ashamed point. So that make us sometimes difficult, mentally. So I'm quite interested in what the Japan going to, how much we keep the advantage of the Japanese mentality and the Japanese culture, then how much I accept the Western strengths.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. It was a wonderful interview. There was wonderful learning. I hope people now will know Japan more and better through this interview. And of course, there will be questions in their minds, which is good. That would give them some more food for thought as to go deeper into the thinking and into the grasping of things in Japan. And hopefully this will pave the way between a common man from Pakistan and a common individual like yourself. I would not call you common. I should rather not call you common. You have had a wonderful time, 33 years at Fuji Xerox, and I think there's a lot of learning from my audience, from you, and my privilege to be interviewing you today after so many years. And thank you again for your time and for the privilege that you gave.
Let me tell you that thank you very much for giving me such wonderful opportunities. Then I hope that some of the people have interest in Japan and Japanese cultures. Then I hope that many people visit us.
As they say in Arabic and my language, inshallah. So, arigatou gozaimasu, and I'll talk to you later. You take very good care of yourself.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.